There's something comforting about the smell of cinnamon. Maybe it reminds you of fresh-baked treats in your grandmother's kitchen, or a warm mug of cider on a cold day. But beyond its nostalgic aroma lies something powerful. Cinnamon is more than a flavor. It's a natural ally for anyone struggling with blood sugar issues, especially those of us in our 50s, 60s, and beyond. You see, as we age, our bodies often become less responsive to insulin, the hormone that helps move sugar out of the blood and into our cells. This condition, known as insulin resistance, is a major factor in type 2 diabetes. Cinnamon has been shown to help with this. It doesn't work like a drug, and it's not a miracle cure, but it supports the body's natural ability to process sugar more effectively. Researchers have found that cinnamon contains a compound called cinnamaldehyde. This is what gives it that strong, warm scent. But it also appears to help cells respond better to insulin. That means when you eat carbohydrates like bread, fruit, or pasta, your body may be better able to absorb and use the sugar from those foods if cinnamon is part of your routine. Another reason cinnamon is valuable is that it slows down the rate at which food leaves your stomach. This means sugar enters your bloodstream more gradually. When you eat a big meal, this effect can help avoid those sudden spikes in blood sugar that leave you feeling tired or irritable later. It's a gentle, steadying hand on your digestion. One notable study found that people with type 2 diabetes who consumed between 1 and 6 grams of cinnamon per day for 40 days experienced lower fasting blood sugar levels. Even more impressive, their cholesterol and triglyceride levels improved. That's worth paying attention to, especially if you're concerned about heart health, which so often goes hand in hand with blood sugar problems. Now, you might be wondering, how do you actually use cinnamon to get these benefits? It's surprisingly easy. Half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per day can make a difference. You can sprinkle it on steel-cut oats, mix it into plain yogurt, stir it into coffee or tea, or even add it to scrambled eggs if you're feeling adventurous. The key is to avoid sugary foods and still enjoy the flavor cinnamon provides. But be careful with cinnamon supplements. If you're already on medication for diabetes or high blood pressure, talk with a healthcare provider before adding supplements. And know that not all cinnamon is the same. Most of what you'll find in grocery stores is cassia cinnamon. It's fine in small amounts, but it contains a substance called coumarin, which can be harmful to the liver in large doses. A better option is Ceylon cinnamon, often called true cinnamon. It's a bit more expensive and harder to find, but it's safer for long-term use. Will cinnamon cure diabetes? Number. But it can be a helpful tool, part of a bigger picture that includes better eating habits, regular movement, sleep, and stress management. It's simple, it's natural, and for many people, it's already in the spice rack. For those of us who've seen our bodies change with age, every small habit counts. Cinnamon is one of those rare cases where something pleasant and familiar can also be genuinely good for you, and when used consistently, it supports a healthier, more stable life 1 teaspoon at a time. At first glance, broccoli sprouts don't look like much. Tiny, delicate, almost fragile. But these little greens carry a powerful secret, one that's especially valuable for anyone dealing with blood sugar challenges. For those of us in our later years, managing blood sugar naturally becomes more important than ever. Broccoli sprouts, though humble, are a potent tool in that effort. Unlike full-grown broccoli, sprouts are harvested just a few days after the seeds start growing. What they lack in size, they more than make up for in nutrients. One compound in particular, called sulforaphane, has caught the attention of scientists. Sulforaphane helps reduce the liver's production of glucose. That's crucial, because in many people with type 2 diabetes, the liver keeps making sugar even when the body doesn't need it, pushing blood sugar levels even higher. In a well-known study, people with type 2 diabetes who took an extract made from broccoli sprouts saw a significant drop in their fasting blood sugar. The effects were so strong, Researchers compared them to those seen with popular diabetes medications, but without the side effects. Why not just eat regular broccoli? Good question. The answer lies in concentration. Broccoli sprouts contain up to 100 times more sulforaphane than the mature vegetable. That means just a handful of sprouts can give you the same benefit as a plateful of cooked broccoli. And since sprouts are eaten raw, you don't lose any of that power to heat. You don't need to be a gourmet chef to use them. Sprinkle them on a salad, tuck them into a sandwich, stir them into soup after it's been cooked. They have a mild, peppery taste that plays well with other foods. And here's the best part. You can grow them yourself. All it takes is a jar, some seeds, and water. In a few days, you'll have a fresh supply on your kitchen counter. Consistency is key. Just like with cinnamon, the benefits of broccoli sprouts build up over time. Eating them now and then won't change much, but a small serving most days of the week can support your body's natural sugar balance. When we talk about nutrition, it's easy to focus on the big things-cutting carbs, counting calories, watching the scale. But sometimes, it's the little things that matter most. Broccoli sprouts may be small, but for many, they're a big part of the solution. For years, people were told to avoid nuts. Too many calories, too much fat. That kind of thinking lingered for decades, especially among those of us trying to eat clean or watch our weight. But today, we know better. The right kinds of fats, the kind found in nuts, are not the enemy. In fact, they can be your body's closest ally, especially when it comes to keeping blood sugar steady. As we grow older, our metabolism changes. We're more likely to face issues like insulin resistance, slower digestion, and unwanted weight gain. These aren't just numbers on a chart, they're daily realities. The beauty of nuts is that they work with your body, not against it. They digest slowly, they don't spike your sugar, and they help you feel full longer. That alone is worth paying attention to. Nuts are naturally low in carbohydrates and high in healthy fats and fiber. That combination means they have a low glycemic index. In simple terms, they don't flood your bloodstream with sugar the way bread or candy does. Instead, they provide a slow, steady release of energy. You feel satisfied, not sluggish. That's especially important if you find yourself craving snacks between meals. A small handful of almonds or walnuts can do more for your hunger than a slice of toast ever could. Let's look at the science. One study from the University of Toronto followed people with type 2 diabetes who ate about 2 ounces of mixed nuts every day for 3 months. The results? Their blood sugar levels dropped and their cholesterol improved. No extreme dieting. Just a daily handful of nuts. That's the kind of low-effort, high-reward habit most of us can stick with. And it's not just one kind of nut. Walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which help fight inflammation and support heart health. Almonds are packed with magnesium and fiber. Magnesium, by the way, is critical for insulin function, and many adults don't get enough of it. Pecans offer antioxidant benefits, and pistachios have a good balance of fat and protein without too many calories. Even cashews, though slightly higher in carbs, contain valuable minerals like copper and magnesium. Now, you might be thinking, but aren't nuts high in calories? They are. But here's the twist. When people eat nuts, they tend to feel full sooner and stay full longer. That means they naturally eat less overall. And studies show that people who regularly eat nuts don't gain weight, in fact. Some lose weight. That's because their appetite is better regulated, and they're less likely to reach for sugary or processed foods later in the day. Of course, not all nut snacks are created equal. Be careful with those coated in sugar, chocolate, or salty glazes. The best choice is raw or dry roasted nuts without added oils or sweeteners. If you're on a low-carb or keto plan, a little salt isn't a big concern, but sugar definitely is. The great thing about nuts is how versatile they are. Toss them into a salad. Mix them into yogurt. Blend cashews into a smoothie. Sprinkle chopped walnuts on top of your oatmeal, or just eat them as they are. The key is moderation. 1 to 2 ounces a day, about a small handful, is all you need. As we age, the small habits we build have a huge impact. Choosing a snack that helps rather than harms your blood sugar is one of those decisions that pays off daily. Nuts are more than just a snack. They're fuel, protection, and peace of mind in a world full of sugar-laden temptations. So next time you feel hunger creeping in, skip the chips or the crackers. Reach for something simple, satisfying, and deeply nourishing. Nature got it right with nuts. Now it's your turn to make the most of that wisdom. Chickpeas might not be the flashiest food on your plate, but they have stood the test of time. Known also as garbanzo beans, these little legumes have been fueling civilizations for thousands of years. And today, they offer something particularly valuable to those of us navigating blood sugar concerns, especially in our middle and later years. At a glance, chickpeas are a curious combination. They're carbohydrates, but they act more like a stabilizer than a disruptor. That's because chickpeas are packed with both fiber and plant-based protein. These two nutrients slow down digestion. When food digests more slowly, sugar enters the bloodstream at a gentler pace. That means fewer sharp spikes, fewer crashes, and more stable energy throughout the day. This slow digestion also supports your pancreas, the organ responsible for producing insulin. When blood sugar rises gradually, the pancreas doesn't have to panic and overcompensate. It can respond calmly, steadily, and more effectively. That's good news for anyone managing or hoping to prevent type 2 diabetes. Research backs this up. A study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine found that people with type 2 diabetes who ate more legumes, including chickpea, saw a drop in their hemoglobin, A1C, a key measure of long-term blood sugar control. They also experienced better cholesterol numbers and improved blood pressure. That's the kind of triple win we all want: sugar, heart, and pressure support in one food. And here's the kicker: chickpeas aren't just good for your numbers. They're deeply satisfying. Their combination of fiber and protein helps you feel full longer, which cuts down on mindless snacking and overeating. That means better appetite control without the need for extreme dieting or constant hunger. If you're used to white rice or pasta, switching to chickpeas might seem like a leap, but it doesn't have to be. Think in terms of simple swaps. Add them to salads for extra texture and nourishment. Blend them into hummus for a creamy dip or sandwich spread. Stir them into soups and stews to make a light meal heartier and more nutritious. You can even roast them with olive oil and spices for a crunchy snack that replaces chips. Some folks ask, are canned chickpeas okay? The answer is yes, with a caveat. Look for low-sodium options without added sugar. Give them a good rinse under running water before using to remove excess salt. While cooking your own chickpeas from dried is great, it's not the only way to enjoy their benefits. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Serving size matters too. 1/2 cup to 1 cup of cooked chickpeas per meal is a healthy amount. That gives you the fiber and protein benefits without overloading your body with carbs. And speaking of carbs, chickpeas are what some call a slow carb. They release energy gradually, keeping you stable and clear-headed. For those of us watching our blood sugar, managing our weight, or just trying to eat more mindfully, chickpeas offer something rare. They give comfort, nutrition, and control all in one. They are easy to prepare, affordable, and deeply nourishing. In a world where fast food and fast carbs dominate, returning to something as simple as a bean might feel old-fashioned. But sometimes, the old ways are the best ways. Chickpeas prove that ancient wisdom still has a place at the modern table. And for your blood sugar, that wisdom could make all the difference. You may not find fenugreek seeds in every American kitchen, but this ancient spice has quietly helped people manage their blood sugar for centuries. It's one of those remedies that might not show up on flashy health blogs, yet its power is undeniable. Especially for those of us in our 50s, 60s, or 70s, when blood sugar control becomes more challenging, Fenugreek is a natural option worth knowing. Fenugreek seeds are small, golden brown, and somewhat bitter, but don't let their plain appearance fool you. They are rich in soluble fiber and plant compounds that have a direct impact on how your body processes sugar. The fiber forms a gel-like substance in your digestive tract. That gel slows the absorption of sugars into the bloodstream. So, after a meal, instead of your blood sugar shooting up, it rises slowly and steadily. That alone would be impressive. But fenugreek goes even further. It contains a special compound called 4-hydroxyisoleucine. This tongue twister helps stimulate your pancreas to produce more insulin, especially when your blood sugar is high. It also makes your body's cells more sensitive to insulin, helping the sugar in your blood move into your muscles and organs where it belongs. That combination's lower sugar absorption and better insulin functionings, a rare gift in the world of natural remedies, and it's backed by science. A large meta-analysis, which looked at many different studies, found that fenugreek significantly lowered fasting blood sugar, post-meal glucose, and even hemoglobin A1C levels in people with type 2 diabetes. Some studies also noted drops in LDL cholesterol and triglycerides. That's a lot of benefit from a simple seed. Now, how do you actually use fenugreek? There are several options. The traditional way is to soak a teaspoon of seeds in water overnight. In the morning, you drink the water and eat the softened seeds. The taste is strong, but many people grow to appreciate it, especially when they begin to feel the results. You can also add the seeds to soups or stews for a subtle flavor. Or, if convenience matters most, you can find fenugreek supplements in capsule form. The key, as with most natural approaches, is consistency. Fenugreek doesn't work like a pill that changes everything overnight. It works slowly, steadily, with small improvements building over time. That's actually a good thing. Your body has time to adjust. You're not forcing change, you're supporting it. If you're new to fenugreek, start small. A teaspoon of soaked seeds a day is a gentle beginning. Your body will tell you what works. Some people may notice a slight change in their sweat. It might smell like maple syrup. That's harmless and surprisingly common. Just a little reminder that fenugreek is working its way through your system. Is it safe? For most people, yes. But if you're already taking medications for diabetes or blood pressure, talk to your doctor first. Fenugreek can enhance the effects of those medications, which might require adjusting your dose. And like any high-fiber food, start slow to avoid digestive discomfort. One of the most encouraging things about fenugreek is how accessible it is. You'll find it in spice aisles, natural food stores, and international markets. It's inexpensive, shelf-stable, and easy to work into your routine. No complicated prep, no fancy packaging. Just an old remedy doing what it has always done, quietly supporting the body's natural systems. In a world full of synthetic solutions, there's something deeply reassuring about a remedy that comes straight from nature. Fenugreek doesn't promise instant miracles. What it offers is better. Steady support, long-term help, and for anyone struggling to keep blood sugar in check, that's more than enough. For generations, fish has been called brain food. But for those of us in our middle or later years, it's also heart food, joint food, and yes, blood sugar food. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, mackerel, and anchovies offer more than just flavor. They deliver powerful nutrition that directly supports better blood sugar control. The key players here are omega-3 fatty acids. These are healthy fats that help reduce inflammation throughout the body. When inflammation goes down, insulin, your body's blood sugar manager, can do its job more effectively. That's especially important for people facing insulin resistance, which is common as we age. If you've been told your blood sugar is creeping up, your A1C is borderline, or your doctor's concerned about prediabetes, fatty fish belongs on your plate. Let's make this simple. Inflammation gets in the way of insulin. Omega-3s calm that inflammation down. When things calm down inside, your cells become more sensitive to insulin again. Sugar moves out of your blood and into your cells where it belongs. Your blood sugar stabilizes. Your energy evens out. That's the power of these fish. Some people ask, why not just take a fish oil pill? That might help, but it's not the same. Whole fish offer more than omega-3s. They also bring high-quality protein, vitamin D, B12, selenium, and iodine. These nutrients work together to support your metabolism, immune system, and nerve health. Whole food always works better than a supplement because the body recognizes and uses it more naturally. And it's not just about the nutrients. Eating fish makes you feel full and satisfied without spiking your blood sugar. A grilled piece of salmon or a can of sardines can replace more processed foods on your plate. That helps with both blood sugar and weight control, two areas where many of us are looking for real change. Now, how often should you eat fatty fish? The sweet spot seems to be 2 to 3 times per week. That's enough to provide consistent support without needing to overhaul your entire diet. Grill a fillet. Add sardines to a salad. Bake mackerel with lemon. Stir smoked salmon into scrambled eggs. These are not exotic meals. They're simple, nourishing, and deeply satisfying. What about mercury? It's a fair concern, especially in large fish like swordfish. But fatty fish like sardines, salmon, and anchovies are small fish, low on the food chain, and low in mercury. They're considered safe to eat regularly, even for older adults. Cooking methods matter too. Baking, steaming, or grilling preserves the healthy fats. Deep frying, on the other hand, destroys those benefits and adds harmful oils. So if you're eating fish to help your blood sugar, skip the fried fish sandwiches and opt for something simpler. Many people are surprised to learn just how much better they feel after adding fish to their diet. More stable energy, fewer cravings, clearer thinking. It doesn't happen overnight, but over weeks and months, the body responds. This is food as medicine, working quietly but powerfully. So if your blood sugar is something you're watching or worried about, don't just think about what you need to cut out. Think about what you can add in. Fatty fish are one of the most proven, time-tested ways to support better blood sugar naturally. They're simple, they're delicious, and they may be the healthiest protein you'll ever enjoy. They may be small, almost too tiny to notice. But chia seeds are one of nature's most concentrated sources of health. For anyone over the age of 45 looking to manage blood sugar, control appetite, or maintain stable energy, these little seeds are worth a serious look. What makes chia seeds so special? Fiber. Just 2 tablespoons provide around 10 grams of fiber, and most of that is soluble. When mixed with water, chia seeds form a gel-like texture. That gel slows digestion. When your digestion slows, sugars from food enter your bloodstream gradually. That means no sharp spikes, no crashing energy. Just a slow, steady release that your body can handle more easily. This kind of blood sugar control is essential for preventing the ups and downs that lead to cravings, fatigue, and long-term insulin resistance. As we age, our bodies naturally become more sensitive to these fluctuations. Chia seeds offer a simple way to smooth those waves. But the benefits don't stop there. Chia seeds are also rich in plant-based omega-3 fatty acids. While different from the ones found in fish, these fats still help reduce inflammation. Less inflammation means your cells are more responsive to insulin, which helps your body use sugar efficiently. That's the foundation of good metabolic health. Let's not forget protein. Chia seeds are a rare plant food that contains a complete set of amino acids. That means they offer the kind of protein your body can use for muscle repair, hormone balance, and energy regulation. And all of this comes without raising your blood sugar. Scientific studies have confirmed these benefits. One trial found that overweight adults with type 2 diabetes who added chia seeds to their meals experienced lower blood pressure, reduced inflammation markers, and better blood sugar control, all without changing anything else about their diet. That's the kind of simple addition that makes a lasting impact. The best part? Chia seeds are incredibly easy to use. You can sprinkle them on yogurt, mix them into oatmeal, or blend them into smoothies. Add them to pancake batter or stir them into soups. They don't have a strong flavor, so they blend into just about anything. You can also make chia pudding by soaking them in almond milk or water overnight. The result is a satisfying fiber-rich breakfast or snack. How much should you use? Most people see benefits from just 1 to 2 tablespoons per day. That's manageable, even if you're new to adding fiber to your routine. But here's an important reminder. Chia seeds absorb a lot of liquid. Always drink water with them or soak them first. Otherwise, they may cause discomfort or digestive upset. Some people wonder whether to use whole or ground chia seeds. The answer is, both work. Whole seeds provide texture and crunch, while ground seeds may be slightly easier to digest. Either way, you'll still get the core benefits: fiber, healthy fats, protein, and steady energy. One more thing. If you've never eaten much fiber, start slow. Chia seeds are powerful. They're best introduced gradually so your digestive system can adjust. A teaspoon a day, then build up. Over time, your gut, your blood sugar, and your appetite will all thank you. In a world that pushes flashy supplements and expensive health products, chia seeds are a quiet, affordable, and deeply effective tool. They don't promise miracles. What they offer is even better consistency. A small change that becomes a habit that supports long-term health. For those of us walking the line between prevention and management, chia seeds offer real hope in a humble form. No side effects, no prescription, just results. For a long time, red meat has gotten a bad reputation. People have been told it's bad for the heart, that it raises cholesterol, or that it should be avoided altogether. But as new research comes forward, we're beginning to understand that the story isn't so simple. When it comes to blood sugar, especially for those of us in our 50s and beyond, beef, when chosen wisely, can actually play a helpful role. Let's start with this. Beef contains no carbohydrates. That means it has no direct effect on blood sugar. When you eat beef, your blood sugar remains steady. Unlike foods made with flour or sugar, beef doesn't trigger a spike. It digests slowly and provides long-lasting energy. That's important, especially for people dealing with insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. But there's more to beef than just being carb-free. It's an excellent source of high-quality protein, and protein plays a vital role in stabilizing blood sugar. When you pair protein with a meal, especially one that includes some carbs, it slows down digestion and reduces the blood sugar impact of that meal. That's one of the smartest and simplest ways to protect your body from sugar overload. There's also the matter of satiety. Beef is filling. It helps you feel satisfied longer, which means fewer cravings for snacks later. That helps prevent the mindless eating that can throw your sugar levels off balance. For many people, especially those trying to lose weight or improve their metabolic health, this feeling of fullness is key. Grass-fed beef offers even more. Compared to conventional beef, it contains higher levels of omega-3 fats and conjugated linoleic acid type of fat that's been linked to better metabolism. It also contains more antioxidants, like vitamin E and beta-carotene. These nutrients don't just help with inflammation. They support your immune system and protect your cells from damage. And here's a detail you might not know. Eating protein increases something called thermogenesis. That's the amount of energy your body uses to digest food. Protein makes your body work harder to break it down. That burns more calories and helps support a healthy weight. All of this contributes to more stable blood sugar in the long run. So how much beef is right? A palm-sized portion, about 3 to 4 ounces, is usually a good serving. Cuts like sirloin, top round, or eye of round are lean and nutritious. Ribeye is fattier but still valuable, especially on a low-carb diet. Cooking methods matter too. Grilling, broiling, roasting these keep the nutrition intact without adding unhealthy oils. The bottom line is this: red meat doesn't have to be the enemy. When chosen carefully and eaten in balance with vegetables and healthy fats, beef becomes part of the solution, not the problem. It fuels your body, supports your muscles, and keeps your blood sugar from swinging wildly. For those of us looking to age with strength and stability, that's a smart move. When people think of fruits, they often picture something sweet. But avocados break the mold. This creamy green fruit contains almost no sugar. Instead, it's rich in heart-healthy fats, fiber, and essential nutrients that can play a powerful role in stabilizing blood sugar, especially as we get older. One of the key nutrients in avocados is monounsaturated fat. This type of fat is well known for supporting heart health, but it also has another benefit. It helps improve insulin sensitivity. When your body becomes more sensitive to insulin, it doesn't need to produce as much of it. That leads to lower blood sugar levels and less stress on your pancreas. Avocados are also low in carbohydrates. That means they don't cause a spike in blood sugar the way bread, rice, or sugary snacks can. Instead, they provide lasting energy and a steady sense of fullness. This makes them a great choice for anyone looking to manage weight or reduce cravings, two common challenges among people with blood sugar issues. But the story doesn't stop with fat. Avocados are also loaded with fiber. Just half of a medium avocado contains about 7 grams. Fiber slows the digestion of carbohydrates, which helps prevent blood sugar spikes after meals. It also supports healthy digestion and feeds the good bacteria in your gut, both of which play a role in overall metabolic health. Researchers have taken notice. Studies show that people who include avocados regularly in their diet tend to have better blood sugar control, lower insulin levels, and a healthier overall metabolic profile. One study found that when people added half an avocado to their lunch, they felt fuller for hours and had less desire to eat later in the day. That's a win for anyone trying to avoid mindless snacking. How do you enjoy avocados? The options are endless. Slice them into salads, mash them into guacamole, add them to smoothies for a creamy texture, spread them on whole grain toast, or pair them with eggs for a filling breakfast. You can even dice them into soups or stews just before serving for an extra layer of richness. A good serving size is about 1/4 to 1/2 of an avocado per meal. That gives you the healthy fats and fiber without going overboard. And because avocados are so satisfying, a little goes a long way. You'll feel full, focused, and steady, exactly what you want when managing blood sugar. For those of us in midlife or beyond, these kinds of simple, whole food changes can make a world of difference. Avocados are not just trendy, they're timeless. They nourish the body in ways that are especially helpful as we age. And the best part? They taste amazing. You've heard a lot about cinnamon, sprouts, seeds, and fats. At first glance, they might seem like small pieces of a very big puzzle. But when you step back and look at the full picture, you begin to see something powerful, a clear, steady path toward better blood sugar and better health, especially in the second half of life. We're not talking about fads or extreme diets. We're talking about real food, everyday ingredients that support your body instead of working against it. When you combine them, the impact is more than the sum of their parts. Take cinnamon, for example. It helps your cells respond better to insulin. Broccoli sprouts calm the liver's sugar output. Nuts and chia seeds slow digestion and support steady energy. Fatty fish reduce inflammation, and avocados support healthy fats and fiber. Even chickpeas and fenugreek, humble as they may be, work to keep your blood sugar from rising too fast or too high. These foods don't replace medication, but for many people, They reduce the need for higher doses. They make the body more efficient, more balanced, and more resilient. And when that happens, everything else starts to feel better too. Your energy, your sleep, your weight, and even your mood. For those of us between the ages of 45 and 75, this isn't just about numbers. It's about freedom. Freedom from the constant worry about what to eat, when to eat, and how your body will respond. It's about peace of mind. It's about waking up with the confidence that you're doing something good for yourself and sticking with it, not because you have to, but because it works. And here's the best part. This doesn't require perfection. It just requires consistency. Small habits, repeated daily, have the power to reshape your health. Swapping chips for nuts. Replacing rice with chickpeas. Adding sprouts to your salad. Choosing fatty fish instead of fried food. These aren't sacrifices. They're upgrades. The journey toward better blood sugar isn't about doing everything right. It's about doing enough of the right things, often enough, to make a difference. And you don't have to do it alone. These foods, these choices, are tools. They're here to support you not just today, but every day going forward. So, take a deep breath. Step back from the confusion. You don't need a complicated plan. You need real food, a little patience, and the belief that change is still possible at any age. Because it is. If you've ever felt confused about blood sugar, you're not alone. For many people, especially those of us over 45, the terms thrown around glucose, insulin, a one can feel like a foreign language. But the truth is, understanding how blood sugar works doesn't require a medical degree. It just takes a little clarity, and that's what we'll bring right here. Let's start with the basics. Every time you eat, your body breaks down food into smaller pieces. When you eat carbohydrates like bread, pasta, or fruit, your body turns them into a simple sugar called glucose. That glucose enters your bloodstream. That's what we call blood sugar. But sugar floating in your blood isn't useful by itself. It needs to get inside your cells, where it can be used for energy. That's where insulin comes in. Insulin is a hormone made by your pancreas. Think of it like a key. It unlocks the doors to your cells, so the sugar in your blood can move inside. In a healthy system, this process works smoothly. You eat, sugar rises, insulin is released, sugar goes into cells, and your blood sugar returns to normal. It's a beautiful, automatic process until it starts to slow down. As we get older, our cells can become less responsive to insulin. That's called insulin resistance. The key still works, but the locks have become stiff. The pancreas tries to compensate by making more and more insulin. For a while, that works. But eventually, the system gets overwhelmed. Blood sugar stays high. That's when you start hearing words like prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. This slow shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens over years, decades even. That's why early habits matter so much. The foods you eat, the movement you get, your sleep, your stress level affects how your body handles blood sugar. But here's the hopeful part. You can improve insulin sensitivity. You can help your body use sugar more efficiently. And you don't need extreme diets or punishing exercise to do it. You need foods that work with your body. You need rest. You need small, steady changes. One more thing. Blood sugar isn't just about diabetes. It's tied to energy, mood, brain health, and even how well you sleep. If your blood sugar is swinging too high or too low, it can affect your entire day. That mid-afternoon crash? That might not be a caffeine issue. It could be your blood sugar dropping after a spike. Learning how your body works is one of the most empowering things you can do. It gives you back control. And when you understand the basic dance between food, insulin, and your cells, you stop feeling like your body is betraying you. You start seeing it as something you can partner with, one choice at a time. This isn't about blame. It's about knowledge. And knowledge, especially at this stage of life, is power. If you've ever felt confused about blood sugar, you're not alone. For many people, especially those of us over 45, the terms thrown around glucose, insulin, a one can, feel like a foreign language. But the truth is, understanding how blood sugar works doesn't require a medical degree. It just takes a little clarity, and that's what we'll bring right here. Let's start with the basics. Every time you eat, your body breaks down food into smaller pieces. When you eat carbohydrates like bread, pasta, or fruit, your body turns them into a simple sugar called glucose. That glucose enters your bloodstream. That's what we call blood sugar. But sugar floating in your blood isn't useful by itself. It needs to get inside your cells, where it can be used for energy. That's where insulin comes in. Insulin is a hormone made by your pancreas. Think of it like a key. It unlocks the doors to your cells so the sugar in your blood can move inside. In a healthy system, this process works smoothly. You eat, sugar rises, insulin is released, sugar goes into cells, and your blood sugar returns to normal. It's a beautiful, automatic process until it starts to slow down. As we get older, our cells can become less responsive to insulin. That's called insulin resistance. The key still works, but the locks have become stiff. The pancreas tries to compensate by making more and more insulin. For a while that works, but eventually the system gets overwhelmed. Blood sugar stays high. That's when you start hearing words like prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. This slow shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens over years, decades even. That's why early habits matter so much. The foods you eat, the movement you get, your sleep, your stressal of it, affects how your body handles blood sugar. But here's the hopeful part. You can improve insulin sensitivity. You can help your body use sugar more efficiently. And you don't need extreme diets or punishing exercise to do it. You need foods that work with your body. You need rest. You need small, steady changes. One more thing. Blood sugar isn't just about diabetes. It's tied to energy, mood, brain health, and even how well you sleep. If your blood sugar is swinging too high or too low, it can affect your entire day. That mid-afternoon crash? That might not be a caffeine issue. It could be your blood sugar dropping after a spike. Learning how your body works is one of the most empowering things you can do. It gives you back control. And when you understand the basic dance between food, insulin, and your cells, you stop feeling like your body is betraying you. You start seeing it as something you can partner with, one choice at a time. This isn't about blame, it's about knowledge. And knowledge, especially at this stage of life, is power. By the time we reach our 50s or 60s, we've lived through countless food trends. Low fat in the 80s, low carb in the 90s, clean eating, keto, paleo. And yet, despite all these diets, many people still struggle with blood sugar. Why? Because sometimes it's not about the diet itself. It's about a few common habit zones we may not even realize we've developed over time. One of the biggest mistakes is skipping meals, especially breakfast. Many people believe that eating less will help control their weight or blood sugar. But skipping meals can backfire. When you go too long without eating, your blood sugar drops. Your body releases stress hormones to raise it back up, and by the time you finally eat, you're so hungry that you overeat, often choosing quick carbs that spike your sugar. Another mistake? Starting the day with sugar. Think about a typical American breakfast. Cereal, toast, fruit juice, maybe a muffin. These foods might taste familiar and comforting, but they flood the bloodstream with sugar right away. Without protein or fat to balance it, your body experiences a quick high followed by a crash. That crash leads to cravings, irritability, and poor focus. Over time, it also wears out your insulin system. Let's talk about snacking. A lot of midlife adults snack without thinking. Chips while watching television, a cookie here, a handful of crackers there. Most of these foods are high in refined carbs and low in fiber. That means they digest quickly and cause blood sugar spikes. The real problem isn't just the sugar, it's the frequency. Constant grazing doesn't give your insulin system a break. Another hidden danger is health halos. Just because something is labeled gluten-free or organic doesn't mean it's good for your blood sugar. Many so-called healthy snacks are loaded with dried fruit, honey, or natural sweeteners. They sound wholesome, but your body sees them the same way it sees regular sugar. Portion control also plays a role. It's easy to overeat foods that seem healthy like whole grains or starchy vegetables without realizing how they affect your blood sugar. A small baked potato might be fine. A large one, loaded with sour cream and eaten with bread, is a different story. Lastly, drinking calories is a silent saboteur. Sodas are obvious, but even fruit smoothies, sweetened coffees, and sports drinks can quietly add a lot of sugar to your day. Your body absorbs liquid sugar even faster than solid food, making it one of the worst culprits for sudden spikes. The solution isn't deprivation, it's awareness. Start with balanced meal zones that include protein, healthy fat, and fiber. Pay attention to how foods make you feel 2 hours later. Are you crashing? Are you hungry again too soon? Those are signs that your blood sugar isn't steady. We're all learning as we go. But once you see these patterns, you can start making small shifts that lead to big changes. And the best part? You don't have to give up joy or flavor. You just have to stop believing the food industry's version of what's normal. You've lived enough life to know that your health is worth protecting. These eating habits may be common, but they're not permanent. And the moment you begin replacing them with better choices, your body responds.